Friendly reminder for folks, if you are just starting dating someone and they ask to see your phone, your answer should be no. I don't think so. Nah, not today. Not on my watch. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. I give you guys forewarning, fair warning. I was going to be late. Just flew in the other night back from a wedding. It's wedding season for those out there. And I immediately watched this episode. The second episode released this morning. I have not watched it yet because I wanted to come into this fresh and give my full opinion about this episode before I moved on to the next. I did contemplate merging the two the two reviews together, but for what I like to do, this episode is too dense and there's too much information and stuff happening in this, too many great character moments in this that I wanted to give this one its just due before sort of merging them together and blending them together. But this is the fifth episode of the fourth season of the morning show called Amari. It is a masterclass of acting between Nicole Bahari, Karen Pittman, and I said Billy Cudrup would be in that too. They all, the three of them, sort of carry this episode and do just wonders. I don't know how this goes about or who decides what gets clipped up, but Nicole's scene as Chris towards the end of this episode needs to be clipped up and sent to any award bar or whoever does the nominations for, because good Lord. And I know Nicole has had some ups and downs in her career because of some things that sort of stuck with her from the Sleepy Hollow realm, but screw all that. That girl can act. Then we need to give her flowers now. All right, so let's jump into the episode. The episode starts with Cory and Bradley on a rooftop, living their best life, having their first official date. Because, as we all know, they slept together first, got that out the way. It worked out, and they wanted to have their first date. It's interesting in this is that we as an audience know that Bradley's doing this with ulterior motives, but Cory is fully in. He's invested. He looks like the puppy dog. He's finally got the girl that he's been pining off for so long. The girl has told him no or used him in one way and then moved him off and kind of just like he's finally got her. It's at his grasp, and so he is open-hearted to the point where he sort of makes some mistakes and slips up a little bit. But if you are doing this as a person who's honestly in love or in deep like with someone, you're not going to think that they're going to take your phone and do some devious stuff with it. But what happens here, they're having a conversation back and forth. He gives Bradley his phone because she asked to see some photos of his movie set. And he's so proud to show them off to her because you want to show off to the person you're trying to start to develop a relationship with. And he thinks she's honestly prideful or happy to see them. Shows them to them, and then she asks for another drink. Now, here's an interesting thing. I think Bradley is both smart and dumb at the same time. Bradley is smart enough to send Cory to the bar to get another drink. And she was originally drinking wine. She says, nope, switch it up to a Negroni, which is a mixed drink, which is going to take a little bit more time to pour and make than the wine. To buy herself some time. She, however, is not smart enough to clear search history or to realize the search history is going to remain prevalent on a phone after you've looked up something. But while he's at the bar, she searches for Wolf River, doesn't bring up anything, and then she looks up Stockton. Stockton pulls up the dossier of an email. The email has photos attached to it with Stockton and a woman that is unidentified to us, unidentified to Bradley. So she takes a photo of it and then kind of puts the phone down, and then she dips out of there. Ends the night, says, I got work to do. I'm gonna head out. And so it's clear that there are moments where it seems like Bradley is being genuine in this relationship or trying to bring up this relationship. But now, because of the information she has, she's very much treating this as work and kind of just getting in and out and not really caring about Cory's feelings whatsoever. Mia meets with a new company, a new woman named Joyce, who's the head of this company called Defy Media. Black woman talking to another black woman. Mia feels like she's in hog heaven. She's doing her best shtick and information with this woman to kind of sell herself to this company. Joyce has questions right out the gate. It's like, hey, look, I have history of you. I know who you are. You don't seem like the type of person that would just up and leave a long-standing job like you being in the way that you did. Can you give me a little insight as to what happened? And Mia's just like, I realized that I was never going to grow there. They were always going to keep me in my place and never allow me to grow and grasp and do other things. And here, I feel like I can. And Joyce lets her know immediately, like, look, we don't have the money that UBN has. So stars that you are acquiring and making, you're not going to really be able to do that here. And Mia sells her on the fact, like, hey, let's make the stars from the ground up here. UBN has a massive viewing audience, but they're not always around. They're not. They ebb and flow. They come in and they go out. What she wants to do with Defy is like, let's make a loyal brand. While we may not have the numbers that they have, we have a group that will do and go with us from top to bottom, no matter what we do. And so she sells herself quite nicely in that room. So she gets out the room with her handler, Zari, I believe is her name. They started kind of pre-celebrating, like, yeah, we got this. We knocked that bad boy out the park. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but I think we're on to something. While that's happening, this is our third sort of story that's happening in this episode. What I do love about this show, and I didn't mention this at the top, the morning show happens to have enough characters and enough actors that we can delve into storylines and sort of put that Celine, Stella, Miles piece to the side. Yeah, we'll get there probably in the next episode, but let's pause that for a minute because we got some other fires that we have to do. And this, we focus back on Chris, played by Nicole Bahari. So Chris is on assignment, doing pre-trials for some Olympic Games, getting ready for all of the Olympic coverage that she's about to go into. While she is there, she looks on her Twitter feed or X feed. I don't remember what they call it in the show, if it's been updated yet. But she looks on her social media feed and sees that someone has attached the rumors of roids and her doping up as a part of her Olympic history. Small but mighty. It's starting to sort of gain traction. And Ben, the new Mia, who's head of the TMS, kind of tells her like, "Hey, it's small. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. We'll handle it. It'll be fine." And she's like, "It's getting enough legs that I feel like I should at least go back to the morning show and just make myself present." And he's like, "I don't think that's the best idea, but if you do, we can do that. But we're not going to mention doping or any type of thing at all on the air." And she's like, "Okay." So she gets on air, has a great show with Bradley. They do their whole thing. She does well, but the second she gets off, Ben comes to Layla, who is sort of now, while Ben is the overseer of the morning show and all of this stuff, Layla's the one who's doing the day-to-day stuff. She's the one that was directly under Mia. And Layla is told by Ben, "Hey, I know I said you could use Chris for a couple more episodes, but I'm taking her off. This rumor is starting to grow a little bit. We got a little bit of a PR bump, so I'm going to pull her back off and put Yanko back in." And so Layla's kind of like, we keep changing hosts from day to day. There's no sort of ability to build chemistry or rapport. What the hell are we doing? And while this is happening in this sort of cumbersome way that Ben is running the morning show, there are signs that are popping up all over the morning show that have, "Hey, have you seen her? Missing Mia. Would love to have her back. Let's have her back." And Ben sees them, takes them down, but he definitely clocks that the people of this show are not happy within the way that he is running things. That message gets to Alex. So Alex calls Ben into his office, and she's like, "Well, what are you doing down there? Like, you are running this ship rudderlessly. The people there can't get any type of chemistry. There's no type of sort of message, goal. It doesn't seem like there's a plan at all for the morning show. You're just doing things. You're pulling hosts off from time to time. What are you doing down there? Get your stuff together." He says, "Okay, I will." And then he mentions the wanted signs or the posters about Mia. It's like, "Hey, it seems like these posters, have you seen these posters going all around? It says like they want Mia, they want Mia, they want Mia." And this might be the coldest thing that I think of Alex has ever said to this man's face. He's like, "Yeah, I've seen them." And Ben asked her, like, "Well, how do you feel about it?" She's like, "Well, I feel like the way that Mia was let go here was not done correctly. And the way the morning show is running right now, we need her now." So she just basically said to this man's face, "You ain't it. I want her. And if I can get her back, I'm going to remove you and put her back in this place because you ain't doing it." Well, damn. Chris is losing sponsors. She's at home with her husband preparing to go out for a date night, and Target is pulling out. A lot of sponsors are pulling out because this thing is starting to groundswell. Get to a point where it's getting bad. Her husband lets her know that, "Hey, we've sent a cease and desist letter to the person who is responsible for this," which lets her know, like, "Oh, wait, you guys have an idea of who this is. You know who this is." To which he says yes. And she quickly deduces that it's Tunde, her former Olympic partner, who was under her understudy, basically her number two for the Olympic Games. But he tells her, "Hey, don't worry about it. We got it handled. Let's just go out and have our date night. Let's enjoy ourselves. This is our night. We don't get many of these to occur. Let's just go chill." She's like, "Okay, fine." That night, Zarya comes to Mia's place and informs Mia that she did not get the Defy job. Not because she didn't knock that interview out of the park. She did. She doesn't get the job because Alex Levy has sort of put her thumb down and said, "Nah, she still belongs to UBN. Like, I still want her." She lets Joyce know, like, "Hey, we're going to do everything humanly possible to get her back into the fold. So I would suggest you not bring her in." But as an apology to saying that you're not going to get the person that you definitely wanted, you should have, um, I'll do a charity event for one. I'll host one of your charity events for your show. How's that? Look, I don't think, if I'm being honest, I feel like Alex is doing this genuinely because she realized she feels like Mia is the best person for this job. How it looks, and I'm glad that we're seeing it from Mia's viewpoint, is that you can work only for UBN. And if you don't work for UBN, you can't work anywhere else. That's how it's reading to me. And that's how it's coming across. And Alex is so far up as the executive level that she can't realize the sort of thumb that she's sort of putting on Mia. A thumb that she used to be under when she was just a newscaster or a news person at the show before she became an executive. And so it's a very unfair position that she's put Mia in. And Mia's kind of like, "Well, I'm damn, like, I can't move. I can't do anything unless one of these people let me do it." And Jari says, like, "Nah, don't think like that. No. We off that. We have to build our own. We have to do our own thing. You have to be responsible for that." They have a couple of glasses of wine, and then she calls her booty call man. If you remember from season before, her military caster that keeps going back and forth. She has a tryst with every once in a while. They shoot pool, and he kind of just lays it out there. They're like, "Look, here's the issue. You've never truly been who you really are. Your hair, your clothes, the way you act have all been because you want to put on an air for these people instead of being your true self. Like, you've always played by their rules, and maybe it's time to not anymore." As Chris and her husband come back home from their night out, they're drunk, about to make love. But Chris says, "Put a pin in that love making for a moment. I got to go make a call." She says she's going to go check on her kid, but she ain't checking on her kid. She's going to go call Tunde and leave a very volatile, explicit laced, drunk call on her voicemail. Chris, you got to think better than that. To which point, yes, the very next day, it is all over the airwaves, specifically the airwaves of Broman's podcast show. The show that's in the building that Chris works in is just ripping her a new one, and saying that this sounds like a roid-infused rant that she's having on this woman's phone. Start pulling out, "Oh yeah, she got a new book," and it's having a book that's made of, like, your first roids as an Olympian, and it's just a lot, to the point where Alex has to come and check him and, like, "What are you doing? Like, this is in house. This is in the same building. You're on the same team. Why are you putting her under the bus like this?" And Bro's kind of like, "Well, look, here's the deal. Like, this is news, and if you were in my position, you would report this news. Like, this news would get reported. Just because she's the Black Barbie doesn't mean we don't have a duty to tell the news as it is. And so I'm going to continue to do so. I'm not gonna let up. And you wouldn't either, really, in this position. Like, get off me." He then tells her, like, "Now, can you please leave so I can continue to get the ad dollars that pay for your salary?" Because, as we all know, the reason they're in that house, they're probably the only thing that sort of got stayed within the merger, because that makes so much money and they can't really tell it what to do. So Alex goes to check in on Chris, and Chris just finds Chris, like, in her dressing room, chipping away at ice in the fridge. Not seeming to be in the best way, not seeming to be the person that you want to build the rest of your morning show stable around. And so Alex goes to Ben and the team, like, "Hey, look, I think it's time that we reach out to Bradley and see if she wants to do an extension beyond the Olympics, because we might need to have her in place, because this Chris thing could blow up in our face quite even worse than it is." While Chris is leaving UB in the building, Mia comes in with her new hairdo, looking like a boss, and apologizes to Chris for the manner in which she spoke to Chris on the final time that they saw each other. She says, like, "Chris, look, I made the mistake of taking out the way I felt about the company and the business out on you. And I envied you because you did everything that you wanted to do by your own rules and be damned if what it did to anybody else. Like you lived by your own set of rules and people had to sort of cater themselves around you. And that wasn't the case for me. I always had to live in this box and sort of be at the beck and call and sort of be what everybody else wanted me to be. And I envied that about you and I took that out on you and that wasn't fair. He then says, like, I think I might have a way for you to get out of this. And Chris is like, all right, cool, follow me. They go to have a conversation. And in that convo, Mia tells Chris that you need to go on the bro show and talk to him live on the air. And she's like, wait, what? That seems like a terrible idea. And what Mia says, look, don't play it safe. That's what they want you to do because you play it safe, they are able to put you to the side, continue to do everything else, build a world around you while you die off into the shadows, and they take you out of the game completely. That's what they've done to me. That's what they always do to me, and that's what they specifically do to girls who look like us. So I think it's time that you take the bull by the horns, sort of make this your own play, and get in there and do your thing. Alex meets with Bradley. Bradley comes to her place, and Bradley's like, hey, I heard about the extension. I'm not sure I want to take it because I don't want to get in the mix of this Chris stuff because this is a lot, and I like Chris. But two, you told me that you didn't want me back here the second that I got here. And Alex is like, yes, I did. Perhaps I'm a masochist because I'm the one who offered the extension. But I do think that you are the best person for news. I trust you. I believe in you. And I think you're going to give us the best news. To which Bradley returns. So, about the belief. Hold that thought for a moment. Because I slept with Cory. And to which Alex is like, you did what now? And Bradley throws their thought and their relationship away as if it was just a nothing. Like, yeah, it didn't mean anything. I was bored. I was drunk. And I felt safe. And to which Alex is like, you felt safe with Cory? Like, safe as if you were in the elevator shaft and the door was open safe? Like, how? But she's like, neither here nor there. That doesn't matter. What you need to do, though, is because he may be tied to all of this Wolf River stuff, you need to call him and break this off immediately. Like, this can't go on. This needs to stop. So she has Bradley call him to break it off, and Bradley gets sort of cold feet on the phone. He's like, nah, I need to do this in person. Like, I don't want to make this call and end this on the phone. He deserves the right to have this happen in person. Now, based on how he was responding in this moment, he doesn't know yet. But because things have sort of changed and he was going to go cook for her when she showed up, this is where things get a little messy for Bradley. So the next day, Mia walks into UBN looking like a bad bee. I'm not saying the word, but you know what it is. There's even a song in the overlay that's saying how bad she looks, coming in looking like $1 million. People are turning their heads, looking at her everywhere she walks. They're like, "Oh, who Mia? What is happening?" But she's there to sort of act as a liaison for Chris and sort of be her producer for her segment that she's about to have on the Bro Show. And then when she arrives, Chris and Tunde have a little meeting outside of the studio before they go into the Bro Show. Tunde being her partner, who has kind of put all this mess out into the air. And Chris is very calm. As a matter of fact, like, hey, what is going on? Like, I'm sorry for leaving that voicemail on you, but like, why are you doing this to me? And Tunde is coming from a very point of like, hey, I'm still in the muck of it. I'm still in the hood. I'm still where we all grew up from. And it doesn't seem like you want to come back and represent or claim us or put any money towards us. We're kind of just out here digging it. Like, this is my sort of way of getting your attention. And Chris is like, this is how you go about it? Like, this is just bad. Like, how about this? How about we not even go in here on the Bro Show and air out all our dirty laundry between us on the show? Let's just go have a drink and have the conversation. And Tunde's like, no, that moment is past. We've already passed that point. So they head into the studio to get prepared for the show. While that's happening, Mia's outside watching the show happen in real time. Ben comes up freaking out, like, what are you doing? Why is she on this show of all the shows? Ben's calling Alex as she's trying to make her way back to UBN. She was at a meeting. And Ben is like, get your girl Mia. Like, she don't want effing up this. This is all happening because of Mia. To which Alex is like, okay, that's another conversation, but we will get there. So then the girls are on the show. And bro, he's doing he's playing with both of them. He does some sexist comments. He tries to pit their beauty against each other, which both of them, I love this. Both of them, even though they don't like each other in this moment, they both equally shut that down. Like, no, that's not what we're here for. But then it comes up that Tunde has proof um, that that Chris was doping, and it is a doctor's note with a signed thing going to Chris, to which she passes off to Bro. Bro then passes off to Chris. Chris looks at it, and then there's a moment where Mia is trying to send a text to Chris, like, "Hey, shut it down, get out of there, abort, never mind. We can regroup and come another day." But earlier, she did tell Chris, "Sometimes you got to take a story by the horns, and just burrow through it and take it all and make it your own." So we have Chris open up, and if this is the moment, folks, this is that sweet spot of the show where Nicole puts it all out there and she acts her damn ass off. And you can see the moment where she basically has to break open a wound that she has had pushed down for some time that nobody else knew. Her husband didn't know. No one else was aware of what damage it is she had to go through. She did take a moment where she doped. It wasn't during the Olympics, it was during the pre-trials to qualify. But she was pregnant, 5 months pregnant, and then stillborn. Her son did not make it. And her body at that point, one, she was depressed, she was in a bad way mentally, but she also was in a bad way physically. She could not get back up to the level of running that she was at before, and her endorsements were going away. She was starting to fall off, and she took the dope, and it got her back to a point where she could run again and her body could get back to being healed again. And she did say that it made her ill, but it also brought back all the endorsements. Everybody sort of started coming back around. She started getting back on that train. But because she didn't like the way that it made her body feel, she chose not to use it during the Olympics. She didn't run with it at all. But she did win that Olympics. And because of that, in the back of her mind, she was like, she felt a little dirty. She felt a little bit of a fraud and up there. But she's like, I ran that race clean, even though she was going at the fastest she's ever gone to. But she's like, I just felt like I never want to be in a position where I can have everything that I've worked for easily taken away from me. I didn't want to be that again. And so in that moment, I decided to switch from sports to going to broadcasting because I had a little bit more control of what it is that I was doing. But she's like, yes, I did dope, and I didn't do it for fame. I did it for my family. I did it for my daughter, and I did it for my son, which she then says the name Amari, which is the name of the episode, and the name of her kid, which you can tell the way that she says that name, the name she has not uttered since probably the tragedy happened. She had pushed that so far down. This was the first time she got to sort of share that and explore that and bring that out. And it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a heavy, heavy scene, and it's beautifully done to the point where Bro and Tunde, both Tunde's got a tear coming down her eyes. Oh crap, this is not a wound. This is not what I wanted to do. Bro, kind of like, let's go to a commercial break. Are you okay? Thank you for sharing. He is very open and honest about the information that he just received. Ben takes off. It's as bad as he knows this is and how the fallout's going to be. It was also great, great television. It was a great, podcast, great interview. She takes off, and then Alex goes in to kind of check Bro a little bit. And Bro's like, "Look, I didn't know that the doping that she was going to come in with proof. I didn't realize that." And I was like, "Well, there's going to be a lot of fallout for this. Like, there's going to be a lot to have to deal with." But also, that was a damn good interview. And that was her way of saying, hey, that thing you told me earlier about, like, you have to report on the news, despite no matter if it's a person in house or not. You're right. You're right. And you've done everything correctly. And you just gave an amazing interview. So I hate you, but don't stop being you. I can see a brief moment. Brody's kind of like, all right, cool. She's coming around on my train. Alex then goes to Mia to sort of confront her, and Mia's like, "Hey, ease up. No, you don't run anything here. I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to." But Mia tells her off for like making decisions for her. Like, you put yourself in a position where you controlled my narrative, and that don't work for me. Like, nah, you've done enough of that in my life. You, Stella, Celine, have all done enough of controlling my narrative. Now I'm controlling my own damn narrative. And it's fascinating to me that you've all got to make crappy decisions. You and Mitch doing your thing, Cory releasing racist emails and all that stuff. Everything has been able to make crappy decisions that's benefited them and end up being called a shifty business move, where I can't do that because I'm not allowed to. And Alex is like, well, those weren't great business moves. Like, yeah, but you got the chance to do so. Like, you got the opportunity to do that, bad or good or bad, and it worked out for you. I want that. I'm doing that for myself. So from this point on, anything that you want regards to Chris comes through me. We are a duo. We work as a team, and we're going to decide what's the best place for her because she doesn't feel like she's wanted here at UBN. And I don't necessarily know if it's going to be at UBN. Alex is that a threat? And she's like, no, it's not a threat. We're just weighing our options, and we are working as a unit to do so. She then walks off, and Alex is like, we're not done here. And Mia's like, no, 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 I am, and that's it. Again, I said it once, but Alex is very much of the belief that she is doing right by Mia. She's trying to do right by Mia. She's trying to give her the best job at UBN. But there's so much, and this has happened in previous seasons, there's so much damage and muck that has happened at UBN that it might be best for someone to break apart from it, especially someone that looks like Mia or looks like Chris, who doesn't have some of the advantageous behaviors and looks and world that Alex, Cory, Celine with money, and Stella have. Although Stella might not have that very much longer. The last part of the episode is a heartbreaking one. Bradley goes to see Cory, and the second that Cory opens that door, you can tell things have changed. He knows, and so they get to talking. And he says, yeah, I went to my emails to search for the recipe to make us a great dinner. And in that, I saw my email history, and someone had gone back to look at Kenneth Stockton. Why? And they get into a back and forth. He is genuinely heartbroken. He's heartbroken because he gave a piece of himself. He gave her the phone as an honest gesture because he thought somebody he was caring for cared for his projects. It's like, hey, you want to see my movie? I gave you that on our date because I thought we were one, not realizing that you were just using me. I was an investigation piece for you. You don't care about me. And she at that point says, like, I know about Wolf River. I know that you covered up stuff, and I know that you sent Earl to go talk to Stockton, and I know you did all of these things. To which Cory's kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know who the girl is. She brings up the girl in the photos. Like, I don't know who any of these, I don't know who that is. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, I took this job. When I took this job, I had to deal with the Mitch mess of it all. Like, that was my primary concern. The EPA cleared this of saying any wrongdoing, if there was any toxic stuff in there. So because the EPA said that, I kind of was like, cool, I'm done with this. I don't need to worry about this anymore. I'm going to go send Earl to go handle this, and I just don't want to see it again. I don't know what Earl did. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he said. I never spoke to Earl about it again because I moved on to start dealing with this Mitch stuff. To that point that she mentioned to Cory that Kenneth is dead, to which he kind of is like, hold on. You think so little of me that I would have someone killed and stand here and just be perfectly fine with it? And this is where it gets even messier. And Bradley's kind of like, you are a dirty girl for this. She starts saying like, look, what else am I supposed to think about you? You have always been the person that does what is best for you, no matter who it hurts, no matter who gets the collateral damage. So yeah, like this doesn't seem that far out of your wheelhouse. To which Cory is crushed in that moment. Like he is hurt. He feels that she has only slept with him, even though she tries to clear that up. She feels that you only slept with me for this information. Like, he feels used. And he feels like he's been used over and over and over again from Bradley. Like, each time that she needs something or gets to a jam, she calls and runs to Cory and puts her doe eyes on, and he kind of falls for it because he genuinely has a thing for her. Cory says, take my phone. Take my phone, go through all my emails, go through everything you need to. Call Earl. I haven't spoken to Earl. I don't even know if he's alive or dead. I don't know where he's at. But go ahead and talk to him. Figure it all out. But I can't believe that I fell for a girl who keeps putting on this no one loves me act just so you could use me all over again. It's at that point that Bradley realizes that Cory is telling the truth. Like, oh crap, he may not have had anything to do with this, and she may have just broken this man's heart, and any chance of a relationship she had may be an undone. And now for her, it's a may. She's still kind of sitting there like, okay, got it. My apologies. I handled this wrong. Let's work on this. And Cory's like, nah, son. This is a wrap. Like, we done. She's broken, Cory. He says, stop whatever you're talking about. I don't want to hear from you. You sound like a liar. You don't give a flying fuck about me. You don't care about me at all. And I'm now realizing that you just want to use me. And this might be the best line of the whole episode. He's like, I spent a long time getting over you the last time. This time, it's going to be significantly easier. Get the hell out. Um, she tries to say something. He's like, no, get out. And it's one of those get outs where it's almost an airy get out, where like, I'm not putting any effort behind this, but I think so little of you now. Out. Like it's cold. And you can see that she's sort of like, I read this all wrong. I messed this all up and I should have handled this differently. Because I do think there's a piece of her that wanted a genuine relationship with Cory. And she thought, like, if I investigate this and he has nothing to do with it, we can continue that. She never came at this from like, hey, I care about you enough. Let me have a conversation with you. Is this true? I think if she come with him and say, is this true? Did this happen? He would have been like, no. And they could have moved on. But for her hiding behind it, going behind her phone, that was dirty. And so she leaves. I can say now safely that we're in a point where I don't think Cory's going to do anything vindictive to burn Bradley down, but I do think the lifeline that Bradley always receives whenever she gets into some stuff to go to Cory, that ain't happening no more. Bradley then goes to her room, and I think that lifeline's needed real quick because her FBI handler is there and says, hey, yo, we need to chat. And that is how the episode ends. It is a doozy of an episode. Powerful. There are some great performances. I think both the Cory story and the Chris story, with mixed in with Mia kind of taking onus of her powers or her self worth, make this episode probably my favorite. It's one of the best things that's happened this season. Like this show is firing on all cylinders, and acting wise, talent wise, writing wise, this is a good one. We're at the midway point, I believe, and yeah, they knocked that one out the park. What did you guys think about the 5th episode of the morning show, season 4, called Amari? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on X at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast by the same name. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. I will be talking, I'll be watching the 6th episode shortly, and then I'll have that up tomorrow, just so I don't have 2 videos going up on the same day. But like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.